The jungle planet Velcura 9 was full of strange sounds, glowing plants, and dangerous creatures. It was not a place made for humans, but Captain Elias Rourke had no choice. His mission was clear with Q, the last 2 human researchers, and leave. The planet his team had landed 3 days ago, but things went wrong fast. A massive thunderstorm hit their dropship. Strange beasts attacked from the trees, then something worse, a silent ambush. A group of creatures moved in the shadows, took 2 of his team, and vanished. Now, Elias was alone. His leg was bleeding from a deep cut and his tracker was broken. Thick vines twisted around him as he moved carefully through the forest. Holding his rifle in both hands, Rourke to base, he whispered into his com, but only static replied. His helmet lights flickered. The power cell was dying as he stepped. Through the undergrowth, he noticed something strange ahead. Vines were cut clean, like by a blade. There was a path not made by nature. Cautiously, Elias followed it. The path led him down into a ravine. The walls were covered in black stone, carved with alien symbols, something ancient, something not human. Elias touched one of the markings. It was smooth, almost warm. He felt a strange vibration in his fingers. Then the ground shifted. A hidden door opened under his feet, and he dropped into darkness. He hit the ground hard, groaning in pain. When he opened his eyes, glowing blue lights lit the walls a tunnel. It wasn't natural. As Elias stood up, he raised his weapon. But before he could take a step, shadows moved. Shapes stepped out from the walls. Tall figures with insect-like armor and glowing eyes. Their faces were covered by sharp mandibles. Their skin was hard and black like armor Zane Elias had seen. Their pictures in old war files. Insectoid aliens. Warriors. Dangerous. The humans in Zyrene had only one contact in the past. It had ended in blood. They surrounded him. Elias didn't fire. He knew it would be his last act if he did. Slowly he raised his hands. I don't want to fight, he said. I'm just trying to survive. The Zyrene didn't answer. One of them walked forward and placed a clawed hand on his chest. Eyes glowed brighter for a moment. Then it stepped back and motioned to the others. They didn't kill him. Instead, they took his weapons and led him down the tunnel. They walked for what felt like an hour through the underground world. Elias saw more signs of life. Zyrene statues, old hives, strange glowing plants growing from cracks in the walls. Finally, they reached a large chamber. It was shaped like a dome, covered in web-like patterns of silver and green. In the center stood a tall throne made of crystal and bone, and sitting on it was a figure unlike the others. She was taller. Her armor shimmered with gold and blue. A long cloak of living silk flowed behind her. Her face was more delicate, though still alien sharp eyes, smooth chitin, and a glowing mark in the middle of her forehead. The Queen. The guard stopped and stepped back. Elias was pushed forward. He stood still, breathing hard. The Queen rose slowly from her throne. Her movements were graceful, almost like a dance. Then she stepped close to close. Elias looked up into her glowing violet eyes. They stared at each other for a long moment. No words, just silence. Then something strange happened. Elias felt a pulse in his head, not painful, but powerful, like something knocking gently inside his mind. He shook his head and stepped back. What did you do? The Queen tilted her head. Her voice came at last, soft, echoing, beautiful and terrifying. You are not like the others. Elias froze. Her voice was not coming from her mouth. It was inside his mind, telepathy. She stepped forward again. You are alone, broken, yet, not empty. He didn't understand, but he stood his ground. What do you want? The Queen looked at him silently. Then she turned and motioned for the guards to leave. They obeyed. The chamber grew quiet. She turned back to Elias. Her voice entered his mind again. My hive is gone. My people scattered. I remain. Elias looked around the great hall. Dust covered the floor. Cracks marked the ceiling. This was once a grand palace. Now it was falling apart. He realized something then: she wasn't ruling. She was hiding. "Why did they leave you?" he asked. The queen didn't answer right away. She sat back on her throne and rested her hand on her chest. They followed another. A warlord. He promised strength. He offered peace. Elias slowly sat on the ground, his injured leg shaking. Sounds familiar. We humans have the same problem. Sometimes, the queen blinked, studying him. "You are not what I expected." "What were you expecting? Fear, hatred, violence?" Elias gave a tired smile. "I'm too tired to hate anyone today." She asked him about humans. He answered. Simply, she listened. She asked if he would leave. He hesitated. "I can't leave yet," he said. "My mission's not over. I have to find the others." The queen grew quiet. "There are no others alive in the jungle. Only you." Elias's heart sank. "You're sure? I have seen all who walk in my land." He closed his eyes. The last two scientists, gone. His team, gone. He was alone. When he looked up, he saw her watching him. Something in her eyes changed. Not pride, not coldness. Something close to sympathy. "You feel what I feel," she said. Elias stood. "Maybe, but I'm not giving up." She stepped down from the throne again. This time she moved slower, like she was weak. He noticed it for the first time. She was strong but tired. There were cracks in her armor. Her steps were heavy. "You're sick," he said. The queen didn't argue. "The hive gave me life. Without them I fade." Looked at him again, more closely now, but near you. "I feel the old strength, a quiet hum, like the bond of the past." Elias didn't understand, but she looked serious. "You are different. Human minds are loud, but yours is steady." He stepped back. "Waitar, you saying I'm healing you?" "No," she replied, voice softer. "But you are keeping me from falling." Elias looked around again. This place wasn't just a tomb. It was a prison. She was alone, just like him, and for reasons he couldn't explain. He didn't want to leave her there. Later, he was given food. Strange, but edible. The guard showed him a sleeping area, a cell, just a side chamber. He lay back, looking up at the alien ceiling. He thought about Earth, about his crew, about the queen. That night, before sleep took him, he heard a voice in his head again. Softer than before. It was her. "Thank you for not fearing me." Elias didn't answer. He just closed his eyes. Captain Elias Rourke woke up to the sound of soft humming. It was not a machine. It was not the jungle. It was coming from the walls themselves. He opened his eyes slowly. The chamber he had slept in was dim, with glowing green lines running across. The walls. They pulsed like veins, slow and steady, almost like a heartbeat. Elias sat up, his back aching. His injured leg was wrapped in a soft cloth, treated with some kind of alien gel. The pain was almost gone. He didn't remember falling asleep, but he remembered her. The queen. Her eyes, her voice, in his mind. The sadness she carried like a heavy crown. He stood up and stepped into the main hall. Queen Silazar sat on her throne. Still and silent. She was staring at the ceiling, her hands folded in her lap. The moment Elias entered, her head turned. She didn't speak. Not aloud. Not in his mind. She simply nodded once. He walked closer. "Morning," Elias said. She tilted. Her head. "It is the third light cycle since your arrival." He blinked. "I've been here for 3 days. Your body needed rest." Sat on the steps near her throne. "You healed me. Your body healed. I only slowed the decay." Elias looked at her carefully. Her posture was stiff. Her skin was slightly dimmer than before. The glow in her eyes was weaker. "You're getting worse," he said. Scylla didn't argue. "My link to the hive is broken. My people are gone. Without them, the song grows quiet. And the silence kills slowly." She closed her eyes. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Elias finally asked, "What was the hive like?" Scylla opened her eyes, softer now. "It was everything. We were one mind, one purpose. I could feel every Zyrene across the stars. Their joy, their pain, their thoughts. And now I feel ... nothing. Her voice trembled just slightly. Even in her strength, Elias saw the cracks. Scylla rose from her throne. Her steps were slow, graceful, but careful. She moved to a wall and touched a circle etched in the stone. The wall shimmered, revealing a hidden room. "Come," she said. Inside the chamber was something incredible, a floating structure made of glass and metal, like a cocoon suspended in the air by energy beams. Around it floated thousands of glowing shards, pieces of memory, history, thought. Elias walked slowly between them, watching scenes play out like holograms. Zyrene warriors flying through alien skies. Cities of crystal towers, children playing in gardens made of light. Huge ceremony where Scylla stood tall, her people kneeling before her. Scylla watched silently. "This is your memory vault," Elias said. The last echo of the hive. He turned. To her, "Why show me this?" "Because I do not wish to be remembered as a ghost. And you are the only one who will remember." He looked around again. The floating shards showed battles, peace, love, even sorrow. The Zyrene were not monsters. They had lived full lives, and now they were gone. After some time, Scylla led him to another chamber. This one was older, darker, full of broken tech and shattered walls. "This was once the core," she said. The room had a control panel in the center, but it was covered in dust and vines. Elias walked over and examined it. "Can this still work?" It powered the communication array. Before the fall, he cleared the dust, revealing a cracked screen and old symbols. "If I fix this," Elias said slowly, "I might be able to contact my people." "You can leave." He paused. "Yes." Scylla didn't move. Her voice in his mind became quieter. "If you leave, I will die soon after." Elias turned around. He said, "The bond is broken, yes. But near you, something stirs." A whisper of the hive returns. "I do not understand it fully, but I feel it." He didn't know what to say. The air was heavy. She looked directly into his eyes. "Your mind is not like mine. It is separate, lonely, but powerful. I can rest near it." Elias felt a strange pull. In his chest, this alien queen, once a mighty ruler of millions, now clung to life in silence. And somehow, ... his presence gave her strength. "I didn't ask for this," he said softly. "Nor did I." That night, he stayed by the old control panel trying to fix it. Wires, circuits, power cells. It was old tech, but not too different from human designs. Scylla watched him work. "Why do you help me?" she asked. He didn't look up. "Because you didn't kill me when you could have. Pity is not a reason." He smirked. "It's not pity. I just don't leave anyone behind. Even when they are not human." Elias looked at her. "You're still someone. You feel pain. You had people. You lost them. I've seen soldiers who lost everything act just like you." Scylla blinked slowly. For a moment, there was something warm in her expression. Almost ... peace. "You speak as if you've known loss." He nodded. "I've buried friends on alien soil, some I couldn't save. I swore I'd never stop trying." He went back to work. Days passed. Elias continued repairing the control room. Scylla grew weaker, but she refused to rest. She brought him tools, showed him power lines, even helped lift panels. They worked together, and in the silence, a kind of understanding grew. Elias saw her smile once, not fully, but a twitch of her mouth as he fixed a long-dead circuit. That small sign gave him hope. At night, they sat together in the old throne room. Sometimes they spoke. Sometimes they didn't need to. He told her about Earth, about oceans, blue skies, cities of light. She listened, eyes wide. "Like a child hearing stories of magic, you would like the stars from Earth," he said. "They're cold, but they don't feel lonely." Scylla looked at him. I would like to see them. With you. He didn't answer, but the thoughts stayed with him. On the 7th day, he finally powered up the old array. Lights flashed. The signal beacon blinked once, then twice. He smiled. It's working. But then he stopped. If he sent a signal, ships would come. Humans would find the queen. Would they trust her, or treat her like a threat? He looked at her. She stood near the chamber door, silent, watching him. You can go, she said. Though her voice was weak, Elias stood and walked over, and leave you to fade. That is my path. He shook his head. Not if I can help it. He looked around the chamber, then back at the signal. I'm not calling for pickup. Not yet. Her eyes widened slightly. Why? Because you gave me shelter, food, and a reason to care again. The least I can do is return the favor. He placed his hand on the panel, disabling the beacon for now. Scylla took a small step forward, uncertain. You would stay? Elias looked her in the eye. Not forever, but long enough to help you stand again. Her voice trembled. Even after knowing what I am, he smiled. You're a queen, a survivor, and right now, a friend. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, for the first time, she stepped closer. Only a few inches away. Her voice was almost a whisper in his mind. Then stay human. It's just a little longer. Please. The jungle world of Velkarini was still wild above the surface, but deep below. Something strange was growing, a quiet connection between a lost human soldier and a fading alien queen. Captain Elias Rourke had now stayed in the hive ruins for nearly 2 weeks. He had every chance to call for help. His beacon worked. His body had healed. He didn't leave, because Queen Silazar, ruler of a once mighty alien race, was still dying. Not somehow only Elias could keep her from fading completely. Each morning, Elias checked the power systems, trying to restore light and air circulation to the deeper levels of the hive. Much of the old technology had collapsed over time. Scylla, though weak, walked beside him. Her strength came and went, like a flickering flame. Some days, she could stand tall and help him. Other days, she sat quietly, eyes distant, her mind somewhere else. But whenever Elias sat beside her close, but not touching, her eyes lit up again, if only slightly. I don't understand, he said once as they sat in the garden chamber, watching alien flowers bloom with faint blue light. How can just being near me help you? Scylla looked at him with those glowing violet eyes. You are not like others. Your mind hums with something old, steady, alive. Is it because I'm human? She shook her head slowly. No, I have met humans before. They screamed when they saw me. You didn't? Elias shrugged. Didn't have the energy to scream. He didn't run either. He gave a small smile, too stubborn. Blood didn't smile back, but there was warmth in her stare, or brave. That night, Scylla collapsed. She had been trying to lift a damaged power coil when her body gave out. Elias caught her just before she hit the floor. Her skin felt cold. Her breathing slowed. Scylla, Elias shouted, laying her gently down. Talk to me. Her eyes fluttered open, barely. Too far from the hive dash song. ... Too quiet. Her voice faded. Her mind voice, which he had grown used to hearing, was silent now. Elias panicked. He grabbed one of the signal rods they had repaired and pressed it into her hand. You said this helps you remember. He whispered, Focus, Scylla. I'm here. You're not alone. Still nothing. Then he did something strange. Desperate. He placed his forehead gently against hers. Her skin was smooth, cool and hard like polished stone. But the moment their heads touched, something burst into his mind. A flood of memories. Scylla, as a young queen rising from the crystal sea, her first speech to her people, the songs of the hive, the joy of unity, then the war, the betrayal, the silence that followed. Elias gasped. He saw it all like dreams being poured into his skull. He felt her pain, loneliness so deep it echoed for miles inside her mind. Then, the memories shifted. He saw himself through her eyes. His arrival, his words, the way his voice steadied her storm, the way his presence quieted the darkness. He pulled away, breathing hard. Scylla's eyes blinked open, glowing stronger now. She looked at him with awe. What? ... Was that? I don't know, Elias whispered. I just ... What? Tried to help. Scylla slowly sat up. She touched her chest as if something inside had changed. A bond, she said quietly. Not a full one. But enough to keep the hive song alive ... through you. He stared at her. What kind of bond? She looked away. A mental thread between two minds. Rare. Almost never outside our kind. Elias stood and stepped back. Wait, are you saying I'm what link to you now? Not completely, but the link has started. He sat down again, unsure how to. Scylla looked at him. You should leave, before it grows stronger. He laughed bitterly. You say that, but the last time I offered to leave, you begged me to stay. She didn't deny it. I still do. In the days that followed, the bond grew. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't control. It was something deeper, like two souls leaning on each other in the dark. Elias would feel Scylla's mood before she spoke. He knew when she was nearby. When she was in pain, his heart ached. When she smiled softly, barely he felt warmth. In his chest, and Scylla could feel him too. She began calling him by his name, not human, not stranger, but Elias, and when he spoke to her, she answered with something like hope in her voice. One afternoon, as they walked through a half-destroyed hall of statues, Elias paused beside a cracked figure. This is you, he said, touching the tall alien sculpture. Scylla nodded. Last statue made before the war. He looked at the face. It was proud, cold, perfect. Then he looked at the real Scylla beside him. Tired, quiet, but still standing. You're not like the statue, he said. No, you're better now. More real. She looked at him, eyes soft. Statues do not feel. They do not cry. I used to think that was strength. Later that evening, Scylla led him to a part of the hive she had never shown before. It was a small chamber, shaped like a spiral. In the center floated a glowing Orbis heartstone. What is this? Elias asked. The hive's last living memory, she said. Before my people left, they placed part of our soul inside it. Elias stepped closer. The orb pulsed and voices whispered around him, not words, but emotions, curiosity, laughter, sadness, unity. It's beautiful, he said. Scylla stepped beside him. It has been silent for a long time, until you arrived. He turned to her. I'm just one person, but you carry a voice louder than 1,000. The next morning, Elias worked in the garden chamber while Scylla watched. Suddenly, she stood and said, Someone is near. Elias looked up. What? She closed her eyes. Not far. Footsteps. Mine's not like yours. He grabbed his scanner. It picked up movement above ground, several figures armed, moving through the jungle. He cursed. Scouts. Maybe more. Zyrene. He shook his head. No. Humans. Scylla tensed. They will find this place. They find you. I don't. Know what they'll do? Then you must go to them. Warn them. He hesitated. I won't leave you alone. I will wait. But hurry. Elias climbed out through one of the old escape tunnels and reached the surface. The air was thick and warm, the jungle loud with strange sounds. He found the scouting team quickly. They were human soldiers, part of a rescue unit. Their eyes widened when they saw him. Captain Rourke one asked, We thought you were dead. Not yet, Elias said with a smile. They rushed to call their ship in orbit. Medics checked him, but he waved them off. Listen, he said. There's someone down there. An alien. She saved me, helped me survive. She's not a threat. The commander raised a brow. An alien. Yes, their queen. She's the last of her kind. She's not dangerous. The commander didn't respond. Elias saw it in his eyes' doubt. He looked up at the sky. The stars were visible now. He had a choice. Call them down or go back. Elias returned alone. Scylla was waiting in the throne room. sitting quietly, her head bowed. He walked in and stood before her. I saw them, my people. She didn't look up. Will they come? He paused. No, not yet. She slowly raised her head, eyes searching his. Why? 'Cause they don't know you like I do. They don't trust what they don't understand. She looked down again. Then it is only us. For now, Elias said. Then he knelt beside her. She reached out, gently placing her hand near his. Not touching, but close. Thank you, she whispered. He met her gaze. You're not alone anymore, Sela. For the first time, she gave a real smile, strange but full of quiet joy. The jungle above was quiet. Too quiet, Elias stood near the broken entrance of the old hive tunnels. His hand rested on his rifle, but his heart was not ready for war again. Still, he had a feeling something was coming. He turned back toward the hive. The queen had warned him. Something stirs, she had said the night before. Not human, not mine, but dangerous. Scylla could sense minds from far away. It was part of her kind's gift, one that hadn't fully faded yet. For the last 2 days she had grown restless, pacing the halls, feeling old fear rising again. Elias hoped it was nothing, but now, standing there under the gray sky of Velkarani, he knew something was wrong. Queen Scylla stood in the throne room, with her hands placed gently on the glowing hearthstone. Its light flickered like a candle in a storm. She looked weaker again. The bond with Elias kept her steady, but her strength had limits. They come from the north, she said quietly when Elias entered. Fast, with claws and fire. Who? Elias asked. Zyrene, but not of my hive. These are from the broken. War clans, the ones who follow only strength. Elias cursed. They must have picked up the energy signature when I activated the old signal tower. They think I am dead. They will not expect to find me alive. Elias looked at her carefully. Then let's make sure they regret coming. The next hours passed quickly. Elias and Scylla worked together to prepare the hive for battle. Many of the defense systems were gone or broken, but some traps and barriers still worked. Elias used his military knowledge to reinforce weak points. Doors shut, laying shock mines near the main entrance. Hiding traps in the tunnels, Slack showed him hidden paths and secret chambers. She summoned the last of her energy to activate a few old defense drones, floating machines with blades and stun beams. It wasn't much, but it would have to be enough. As night fell, the hive trembled. Elias stood on the upper walkway, rifle ready, eyes sharp. Scylla stood below, tall and proud in her armor. The throne room was dark, except for the soft glow of the hearthstone. Then they heard it. Claws on stone. Screeches in the dark. They came. The first wave hit the outer tunnels. Wild Zyrene warriors, larger, more monstrous than the royal kind, trushed in with screeching war cries. Their eyes glowed red. Their weapons were crude but deadly: bone blades, acid guns, and clawed fists. Elias fired his rifle, hitting the first few. Boom. A trap exploded, blasting 3 attackers back. Now, Elias shouted. Scylla raised her hand, sending out a pulse of psychic energy. The defense drones activated, flying through the air and slicing down the invaders. Still more kept coming. 2. Many, Elias shouted. Fall back to the core. The battle moved deeper. Elias and Scylla defended hallway after hallway. Sometimes side by side, sometimes covering each other from different angles. When Elias ran out of bullets, he grabbed a pipe and swung it like a club. Scylla, even weakened, was a force. She moved with elegance, her long claws slashing with precision. Her psychic waves knocked enemies back, making them scream. But she was tiring. They reached the inner garden chamber. The glowing plants flickered as if sensing danger. Scylla collapsed to one knee. Breathe, Elias said, rushing to her side. They are blocking my mind, she whispered. There is one ... stronger than the others.
A warlord.
Elias looked down the tunnel. A new figure stepped forward. Tall, armored in dark silver. Eyes glowing deep. Crimson, a rival Zyrene queen, twisted by power and hate. She laughed in a low, cruel voice. So the last queen hides like a wounded animal, and with a human no less. Scylla stood, shaking but proud. This is not your hive, Tyrka. It is now. The rival queen raised her claw. Kill them both. The final battle began. Elias fought like a storm. Though outnumbered, his fury was focused. Every punch, every shot, every swing of his pipe was driven by one goal: keep Scylla alive. Scylla stood beside him, channeling the last of her strength. Together, they fought back to back. But Tyrka was strong. Too strong, she charged forward and knocked Elias to the ground. His head hit the floor. Blood ran down his face. His vision blurred. He saw Tyrka lift a blade toward Scylla's chest. No. Elias shouted, but his voice was weak. Scylla turned, her eyes wide. She stepped forward to protect Elias, and the blade slashed. Across her side, she screamed. Elias crawled forward. Scylla. She fell to her knees. Tyrka laughed again. Die forgotten, queen of nothing. But then something changed. Elias grabbed Scylla's hand. In that moment, the bond between them fully awakened. The hive song, once broken, surged to life inside Scylla's mind. Not because of 1,000 Zyrene, but because of one human heart, one human mind refusing to let go. Elias's voice echoed in her soul. I'm here. You're not alone. A heartstone blazed bright in the next room. Scylla's body lifted slightly from the ground. A wave of pure psychic energy exploded from her, knocking Tyrka across the room. The rival queen screamed and collapsed. The wild warriors dropped their weapons and ran. Their minds crushed by the wave of memory and power. Silence returned. Elias lay on the floor, coughing. Scylla crawled to him, bleeding. He smiled, weak. Told you I wouldn't leave. She held his face in her clawed hand. Her eyes were full of light now, not just power, but emotion. Fear. You are hurt. She whispered. So are you, he replied. She leaned closer. I don't want to lose you. He touched her hand. I'm not going anywhere. That night, there were no more battles. Elias and Scylla sat together by the heartstone. Both wrapped in healing cloth, quiet and tired. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. The hive, though, still empty, was no longer silent. The heartstone pulsed again with a steady beat, slow, calm, alive. Scylla placed her hand on Elias's chest. The hive lives on in you. He leaned back, smiling. Guess that makes me part bug now. She tilted her head. You're part me now. He didn't deny it. He didn't want to. A quiet peace settled over the hive ruins beneath the surface of Velkaranin. The enemy was gone. The tunnels were still broken, but they were safe. For now, Elias Rourke woke up in the healing chamber, his body wrapped in smooth vines that glowed. With soft blue light, his wounds no longer burned, but his muscles still ached. Sitting beside him was Queen Silazar. Her skin had healed. Her armor shimmered again. Her eyes held something new, softness. When Elias opened his eyes fully, she leaned closer. You live. He gave her a small grin. Told you I would. She touched his hand. Her fingers were cold, but the bond between them was warm, pulsing like a heartbeat deep in their minds. The hive song had returned. Not in its full power, but enough for her to survive, enough to hope. Over the next few days, Scylla and Elias worked side by side. The hive halls were cleaned, cracked statues were lifted back to their place. Faint lights returned to long-dead chambers. Even the air smelled different now. Elias helped repair the communication node for the final time. You're still planning to send a signal? Scylla asked. He nodded. Yes, but this time, I want it to be clear. I want them to understand what's down here. What do you wish them to see? Elias looked at her. The truth. This isn't just ruins. This isn't a trap or a monster's lair. This is your home. You're not the threat. You're the reason I'm still breathing. Scylla looked away for a moment, thoughtful. They may not believe you. I know, he said, but they'll have to look me in the eyes before they judge you. He recorded a message. Captain Elias Rourke, survivor of El Karani, reporting from below the surface. I'm alive, but not because of any team or system. I was saved by a queen, an alien. Queen named Silazar. He paused. She gave me food, shelter, healing, and her trust. Her people are gone, but she still stands. And if we humans call ourselves explorers and builders, then we must really listen. I'm asking for peace. I'm asking for help, not just for me, but for her. He ended the message. Scylla watched him. You speak like a ruler. Elias shook his head. I'm just a man who got lost and found something worth staying for. 2 days later, a ship entered orbit. The message had reached the human fleet. Commander Naomi Zane, an officer known for calm judgment, arrived with a small team. Elias met them at the surface clearing. Her eyes widened when she saw him. Rourke, you're alive. Barely, he replied with a grin. But better than ever. Behind her, a squad of soldiers waited with weapons, just in case. Elias raised his hand. I need you to come with me. No guns, no shouting. Just talk.
Us?
Zane narrowed her eyes. You're asking a lot. I know, but it's worth it. Scylla waited below. She stood in her throne room, tall and calm. Though Elias could feel her nervousness through the bond, when the humans entered, they froze. One soldier almost raised his rifle, but Elias stepped in front. No, Zane looked. At Scylla for a long moment, the queen bowed her head slightly. Welcome. Travelers of Earth. I am Silazar, last queen of the hive. Zane didn't answer right away. Then she said, You speak our language. Only through him, Scylla replied, glancing at Elias. He is the bridge. The commander looked at Elias. Is this real? He nodded. All of it. The conversation lasted for hours. Scylla told them of the hive, the war, the betrayal. Elias explained how she protected him, how the bond between them saved her life and his. Zane listened carefully. No threats, no shouting. She asked questions, even hard ones. Why should we trust her? One officer asked. Elias stepped forward. Because she trusted me, and I'm still here. Zane looked at the glowing heartstone. You want our help? She asked Scylla. Not as rulers, not as weapons. As friends, Scylla said, I offer peace, knowledge, and safety. Nothing more. Zane finally nodded. We'll report this to Earth Command. But if this is real, then history just changed. Over the following weeks, a team of peaceful scientists and engineers came down to the hive. Not soldiers. Helpers. They brought supplies, scanners, power cores. Elias helped them set up camps. He became the voice between species. The first true ambassador of the new bond. Scylla worked with them, showing old technology, sharing stories. Of her people, and slowly, carefully, something grew between humans and the hive ruins. Respect one day. As Elias sat beside the glowing pond in the garden chamber, Scylla joined him. She wore a new robe made of soft silver threads woven by machines and vines. Her eyes glowed brighter now. You're healing, Elias said. So are you, she replied. He chuckled. Yeah, I guess I am. They sat in silence for a moment. The air was warm. Vines moved gently in the breeze. Then Scylla said, I have chosen a name. For what? For this place. For what it will become. Elias smiled. Tell me Velcaro Prime, the first hive of harmony. He nodded. Sounds perfect. As the sun set above the surface, the stars came out. Scylla stood on the upper platform of the hive. Looking up, Elias joined her. You still think about them? He asked. Every day, my people, my hive. But their memories live on. He looked at her. You think they'd be proud of you? She turned toward him. I believe they would be proud of us. He didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, I never expected this. Neither did I, but you looked into my eyes and didn't turn. Away, Elias reached out and gently held her hand. The bond between them pulsed like a living flame. I'll stay, he whispered. as long as you need me." She looked at him, and for the first time she smiled fully open and bright. "Then don't leave me. I won't." A year later, ... The hive had changed. Now it was a living research station, a cultural center, a place where humans and alien knowledge were shared. Children came to learn. Diplomats came to speak. Artists came to understand. And at the heart of it all, Queen Silazar and Captain Elias Rourke. The bridge between two worlds. Some called them rulers, some called them keepers, but they only saw themselves as friends, wounded souls, who found each other in the dark and lit a fire the galaxy couldn't ignore. One evening, as they walked through the flowering tunnels, Elias stopped and looked up. "Funny," he said. "What? I came here on a rescue mission. Now I've been rescued more times than I can count." Sela touched his arm. "You didn't just rescue me. You brought me back to life." He looked into her eyes, the same eyes that once glowed with sorrow, filled with light. "You once said, 'Please don't leave me.' I remember. I never will." They stood together under the soft light of the glowing trees, not just human and alien, not just soldier and queen, but something stronger. Together.